All right, everyone, we got head coach Ben Olsen here. Ben, just to kick it off, how are you? How's the team feeling ahead of Red Bulls here?
We feel fine. We're excited to have advanced in the CONCACAF competition and putting ourselves in a position to play against the champs. But it was very easy for us to turn that page after we took care of St. Louis. We understand who's coming in town. We understand that's a big task to deal with this team in particular this year. I think they've added some really nice pieces in Forsberg and they've rounded their team out, I think, in a really good way. And for the most part, you know what the Red Bulls are going to do. But again, it doesn't make it easy. It's similar to St. Louis in the way they go about pressing and some of their offensive movements, where they win the ball, where they want to win the ball back. So, you try to prepare the guys for some of that chaos and some of the pressing that comes with playing a Red Bull team. So we have to be brave, but we have to make good decisions, and we're looking forward to it. But they look like a much improved team with a few of their additions.
Yeah. You'll start with Victor in the room.
Ben, do you have an update on some of the injuries? I know people are wondering about Dorsey left the other night.
Day to day, he definitely went out with an ankle, kind of a strain, and a contusion. So we're trying to patch up everybody right now. There's so many games coming at us. We're going to need everybody, as we've done already. We're a little bit banged up, but so are a lot of teams. Some guys are playing themselves back into fitness. So it's really been kind of a puzzle week to week, or to find out what the right group is from a health standpoint, and also tactically how we can get results. But we'll see. I'll have more information today.
Any particular player has impressed you early on?
There's been a few that have stepped up, and it has been enjoyable to watch them kind of fit into the group. Obviously Brooklyn's coming along, and Jan comes on and does a pretty good job for his minutes that he's given us. Tate coming back, Tate Schmidt from an ACL. It's always nice to see guys come back from injury and get minutes. Gabe Siegel's helping out in the goal department and some of the work rate and effort that he's given us. And then, some other guys, usual suspects, guys that have been around this team now for a year and continue to play at a pretty good level. But this will be our hardest test, I think, this year. And, I think we're looking forward to it. We need points. We want to win at home and entertain the fans and send them home happy. So this is just another opportunity. We got to start taking advantage of these home games with 3 points.
All right, Dustin, go ahead.
Hey, Dustin.
Hey, the news just came out that you guys are going to play in the Open Cup this season.
What?
I know, right? That's got to be shocking.
Another tournament.
Right. But yeah, just along those lines, obviously you get to defend as the defending champion, so I'm sure that's great, but another tournament, more games, just kind of your thoughts overall on being back into the Open Cup.
Well, I think we're the only team that's in every tournament. Is that right, Edgar? And last year, fortunately, we did well, and we put ourselves in a situation where we're in. We had to go in the Open Cup because we're defending champs, and we're into CONCACAF. So this is all good. This is all positive stuff for this club, and it's things we wanted. But then you get it, and you're like, oh. There's a lot of games coming, and we got to build a deeper roster. And how do we manage this? So that's all kind of on us as a coaching staff on how we kind of manage the season and our strength and conditioning crew and sports science. So it's all good. I love the Open Cup. I've said this many times. I love it. I think it's It's been around for way longer than the MLS. And I think it's something that we still need to be a part of and embrace. I understand there's definitely some financial and structural and kind of how the tournament is run. It's good. Like let's tweak it. Let's make it better. Let's have big ideas on how to make this thing good for all parties. So I'm happy it's back, and I'm happy we're in it.
Thanks, man.
Jorge, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Right.
Hey, Coach. I just wanted to ask you, how does the team and yourself feel so far with the schedule? You guys have played nearly every 3 days, and then you finally get a little break in between.
Yeah, that's just what it is. We're coming off of that a year of where the schedule has changed. Last year, I think, more so than any time in the history of this league, right? With the Leagues Cup and the jammed front end, the jammed back end, and Open Cup and CONCACAF and all these other tournaments in now. It's just kind of the way it's going to be, and I think that's okay. It's a lot of games. I know it puts a little strain on players, but it also, it's on us to build deeper squads and rotate and make sure our sports science is, dialed in. And, sometimes you have to be disciplined about not playing guys and relying on other players. So that's a good part. The only silver lining about injuries and guys that aren't fit is you get to build depth with players right now, and guys like Sebastian Kowalczyk, who I didn't mention before, who's to your point, he's been great. He's given us a lot of effort, and he was behind Bossi for most of the year, and Bossi was healthy down the stretch, so he didn't get the minutes he needed to progress. So now he gets those, and when Bossi comes back, there'll be a little tension and competition for that spot, and I think that's healthy, especially for our group right now.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Sam, go ahead.
All right. Hello, Coach.
How's Sam?
How you doing, sir?
Good. You? Thank you.
I want to ask, like the other guy asked, playing, every 2 days, do you plan to make some changes ahead of this game against Red Bulls?
I'm sure there'll be a change or two, yeah, but it's we're still, with every 3 games, every 3 days you have a game. There's also you have to kind of take a pulse a little later in the week. You still have some guys that you're finding out where they're at. You're speaking to the trainers and again sports science and seeing what minutes they have, if they can go again. So there's a lot that plays into this in forming a lineup. Again, that's one side, and then the other side is tactically, and who do you think the right crew is to get a result against New York? Sometimes you can look into it and say, oh, we got Columbus here, maybe this guy's better for Columbus, but really our mentality is how do we put the best group forward to get a result at home against New York in the regular season. Thank you.
Joey, go ahead.
Hey Ben, this last game you subbed in Tate Schmidt for Griffin Dorsey, and you put him on the right side. Was that more because it was a quick in-game thing, or if you were to start a game with Tate and Escobar, would you prefer having them on their preferred sides?
Tate's got 2 feet. He's able to kick with his right a little bit better than most lefties. So we use him in that spot as well. We know he can play the Franco, kind of that left back as well. It's probably more natural for him, but it's more natural for Franco, I think, than and Tate can get up and down. He's got good lungs and a good engine. So that was more kind of a moment in the game situation that there's not a real like for Griffin in this squad, and that's something we need to continue to address at some point. But for now, we have enough backs, and there'll be times where people are in spots that are a hair uncomfortable for them, and that's okay. That's also part of a team and getting results, and we were able to do it and still get a result.
And you mentioned
Maybe. We've used Sebastian there on the right side a few times in the year last season. We've also used him as a 10. So, either of those spots I think he can do. I think he could also play out wide left. So, again, that's why these are very important minutes for him to show us what he has. And, sometimes you get guys from overseas and it takes him a little bit. He's only been here for, a half a season. And so now he's acclimated. He understands what we want. He understands the game model more. And he understands his teammates more. So some of this stuff takes time.
Thank you so much, Ben.
All right, Sean, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Ben this is Sean from Washington, D.C. How you doing?
Hi, Sean from Washington, D.C. Where you live?
Live in Livingston, out near Annapolis.
Okay. It's not really D.C., but all right.
Close enough. We're all
I got love for Maryland, man. I got love for Annapolis.
I wanted to ask you about Gabe Siegel. You mentioned him earlier. Your experience with him goes back a little bit, having coached him a little bit, I believe, in a DC United training camp, and also with he was part of Loudoun United for a little bit. Obviously, he's grown quite a bit since then. How has he developed as a player since you saw him in his teenage years, and what are you looking? How do you feel he will work with your squad as the year goes on?
Well, I've known Gabe way longer than that, but I have followed him even his days with Bethesda and locally in DC. I think he's a really nice pickup for this team. He finds himself in a position early where we're down, kind of a starting number 9, and he's mostly been a reserve in this league and. I think his goal is obviously to be a starter. And so, but he's still young. He still has, limited professional games under his belt. And I think he has a lot of room to grow. So we're going to continue to work with him on some of the, whether it's the film or some of the finer details that we think can get him to maximize who he is as a striker. But his foundation is good in that he's going to work his ass off every game, and he maneuvers in the box really well. He's selfless in the box, always occupying center backs and making kind of life easier for people around him in the box to score goals. So, the other night I thought he had a good game. Again, you know what you're always going to get, and you're going to get a good shift on both sides of the ball, a lot of movement, some channel running. A body that can be combative and a real, a defensively sharp guy who can lead the press. So as I said before, now it's up to us to get him to where he needs to be and find his role for this club. When we get a little deeper at the 9, is he a starter? We'll see. Sebastian Ferreira comes back in. We'll be looking to add to the 9 position as well. So there's going to be competition, but for right now, he's our number 9, and I think we're okay with that, and we're going to try to get him to, again, maximize who he is as a player. Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap it up here with Herman. Go ahead, Herman.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned you looked at the additions that the Red Bulls have made, and Forsberg just rated his first game. Is there anything else that stood out on film while studying the opponent?
Just that they're a better version of, I think, last year's team. What they do and how they go about it is pretty similar. Again, it doesn't make it easy. It's still, kind of a 4-2-2-2 narrow, vertical team that represses in a real way and puts you under. And so you have to. It's always you're finding this balance of playing and being brave, but also at times you do have to tweak and be more pragmatic about how you go about the game to be effective and kind of hurting them for some of the aggression. And it's hard. It's always a little bit of a chaotic game. There's more duels. But finding ways to pause the game and be good with the ball and still have combination play, essentially. These are all things we still want to do, but again, you have to do them at the right times, and you have to earn that right to play. So it's always tricky playing them, but we're looking forward to it. Forsberg, as you said, I think is, as said, someone was talking about the biggest signing since Thierry Henry, and yeah, that's probably right. I mean, this is a player that is the highest caliber and has had an unbelievable career, and he still looks like he's moving really well, and that this league is going to be, I don't want to say easy for him, but he's going to be able to really pull the strings in this league for that team, and he's got a bunch of hard workers around him. He's going to be a nice addition. I like the new center back from Sweden. He's a handful, big boy. Good with the pass, but also can drive and add into the central midfield and add numbers in there for overloads. So there'll be a handful. This will be a tricky one for us, probably our best test to date, but one we're looking forward to.